Marhaba ya tulab. Today we'll be talking about al-khabar al-muqaddam, or the fronted predicate in a jumla ismiya. If you'll remember, jumla ismiya has two parts, the mubtada wa al-khabar. We've studied this a bit before, including beginning to al-khabar al-muqaddam, but today we're going to use that more specifically to talk about places. So just a quick refresher. Jumla ismiya, mubtada wa khabar. Let's take a sample. Al-Khadiqa Jamila, the garden is beautiful. Al-Khadiqa is the mubtada, or the subject. Jamila, al-khabar, is the predicate. If you're still kind of grappling with how these work and relate to each other, it might be useful to think about the Arabic words bidaya and akhbar as having the same roots and kind of a connection to these concepts. So bidaya, or beginning, refers to the subject of the sentence that usually comes at the beginning of a jumla ismiya. And akhbar, or news, you can think about as the news or relevant information about the mubtada. So what about the garden? The garden is beautiful. But today we're actually going to flip that around. Al-khabar al-muqaddam, the fronted predicate. We're going to use prepositional phrases to put the khabar at the beginning of the sentence. So let's take an example. Say we want to talk about something in our home, a place in our home, like there is a small table in the kitchen. One way we can write that is في المطبخ طاولة في المطبخ طاولة صغيرة. So in the kitchen is a small table. Notice we don't need any verb here. The existence is kind of implied. You can just say, in the kitchen, a small table. So we use the prepositional phrase في المطبخ, and that is our khabar, our predicate. طاولة صغيرة is our mubtada. Now, if you are an English speaker like me, this might seem kind of a tough or counterintuitive way to phrase a sentence like this. You might want to say or write things in Arabic the way they kind of pop in your head in English, and say, there is a small table in the kitchen, and use maybe a word like hunaka. Hunaka طاولة صغيرة في المطبخ. هناك طاولة صغيرة في المطبخ. Now that is not grammatically incorrect. I think English studiers of Arabic rely on sentence structures that match how they think. And I think that it is very important to recognize this very common type of sentence structure, al-khabar al-muqaddam, because it's considered better style and because it's so common. So the more you can familiarize yourself with this type of sentence and reproduce it yourself, the better you'll be able to understand it both in Arabic text and in real-world contexts. So I've got another video on al-khabar al-muqaddam, so please watch that one, and shukran li istimakum, and ma salama.